What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here for another Sunday week in review. Week that was weekly sports card market updates. We're back. Been a busy, kind of wild and crazy week to a degree. Some newsy stuff, I guess not. Well, biggest things were the Star Stock stuff came back in. Did the video on that. There was the whole eBay shenanigans, 101 PMG that sold that didn't really sell, that shouldn't have probably existed. That was the video yesterday. Great conversation with Norn. Highly encourage you to go check out that one, just for a wild ride on that card. And then the biggest thing, which I know, I'm sure people in the comments are going to be like, you know, put the bat away. But HGA had a really bad week. There's no other way to sum it up. Pretty much every day, something else was happening. They had the slabs that weren't sealed, and I got more reports in my comments of people saying that they had that happen to them. Apparently, it was 4 orders that went out that way with the slabs not being sealed. They had the whole Patrick Mahomes situation where they slabbed a, looks like potentially fake, most likely fake, not 100% sure, but like 98% sure fake Patrick Mahomes auto card from 2020 Playbook, I think it was, or Prestige, one of those two. They lost those 101 cards the week before. Like, it's just every day it's something different with them. This is a big week for them. This is the week they're supposed to drop the video of the demo of the AI. So, you know, we'll see what that looks like, but the internet's going to pick that thing apart, so it better be dead on. For their sake, I hope it's a great video. I'm just skeptical going in, just based off everything that I've seen out of them at this point. And yeah, sure, all the other grading companies have done stuff before. We know that, but they're under the microscope. You know, people keep saying, well, they're a new company, they're a new company. CSG is a new company. I haven't had to do a video or comment about any of their stuff. I haven't seen a thing, anything with the issues come out of them like we have with HGA. And that's why I've been so critical of them, because people are getting pulled in a direction to send cards into them because of a fancy label, and they're not a professional grading company. You know, but like I said, let's see what the AI video shows this week. I'm sure I'll be doing content on that whenever it drops, one way or the other. So yeah, rough week for HGA. A million different things went on with them. So, you know, sports card market wise, things seem to be going pretty okay. I still need to do a deep dive in the NBA and NFL markets, just to kind of see what the run up in NBA has been looking like. Things are definitely going up. We're going to see on a micro scale here in a minute. Football market is doing relatively okay. Once again, the players that are outperforming expectations / playing well are going up. You know, Mahomes' stuff's been relatively flat because he has a ton of stuff baked into his price already. It's not that surprising. He has to play extremely well for his stuff to go up in value. Baseball market is just in a malaise right now, other than one player, which we'll talk about. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Market Movers link if you want to check it out. Coupon codes down there as well. So let's see. Start mostly football today. A lot of football stuff that I pulled. A couple NBA, one MLB. Real quick before we dive in, I should have started with this too. Tomorrow, I assume that I will still keep doing the Monday like hot take football market updates type thing that I record Sunday afternoon in between the afternoon game and the 8 p.m. game. So assuming, you know, a bunch of value shifts on people, I'll keep cranking those out. So for the time being, Marvel Monday is just going to kind of be wherever it ends up. This past week, it was on Saturday. We're just kind of in that season right now with football at full force and NBA about to be coming. The schedule's just getting tight. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive into the charts and graphs. First up, football. First up, you can see him on the screen. Vegas Dave's own. He's printing millions right now off this guy. Derek, not David Carr. Raiders are off to a 2-0 start, have played pretty well. and he's played pretty good. And I will note, some of these I ran back 14 days. Once again, I think going back 14 days sometimes just gives you a little better representation of what's going on. So over the last 14 days, here's his chart. You can see steady upward incline. And this is his base prism PSA 10 from 2014. Only popped 282, so not a lot of these things. Started the 2-week period off at $130. Currently sits at 280, up 114%. So Derek Carr, well on the rise. This is one of those cards that, you know, if he does keep playing well, I could see it continuing to go up just because the population's so low. When you have very low pop like this, it does not take much to see big jumps. But he could fall flat on his face very easily. Once again, with football, I am all about, if I'm into the card cheap and it went up, taking the profits, moving on to the next thing. I am not looking to get cute with football. Look what happened with Christian McCaffrey on Thursday night. Number 1 pick in fantasy, super popular player. All of a sudden, pulls a hamstring. He's out for, I don't know if we actually know how long he's out for yet, but multiple weeks. His stuff's probably going to come down. We didn't see that yet. Still a little too soon. Once again, card prices going down sometimes take a little bit of time. Because if no one's willing to sell it to the new lows, then, you know, there's no new comps to look at. But another player playing out of his mind so far, Gronk. He looks revitalized. 4 touchdowns in 2 games. Brady looks locked into him. Once again, this is actually technically going back 2 weeks, but there was no sales prior to the 19th. This is only a Pop 160 card. This is his 2010 Topps Chrome. This card is way up. Pop 160 on this. As of September 19th, this was a $500 card. As of September 25th, it's a $700 card for a nice $200 increase or 40%. Gronk looks like, I don't want to say prime Patriots, but like late career Patriots before he completely broke down. He looks really good. And I think Brady is going to keep feeding him in the end zone. I just think they're going to go absolutely crazy with touchdowns this year. And I can see his prices continuing to go up because Gronk is ridiculous. Kyler. Good old Kyler. Probably, I'm going to say the biggest winner of the football season of the main guys anyway. Sure, some low-end guys like Derek Carr or whatever have probably had bigger percentage gains. But I think Kyler's been, I'm going to say like the cover boy, the poster child for the NFL market so far this year. This is a Silver Prism PSA 10. Once again, going back 2 weeks, Pop 150 on this, 156. Nice 25% jump from 2,200 to 2,800. So really nice come up for Kyler. He's playing really well. Cardinals look really good. Hopkins is absolutely insane. Rondale Moore's rookie wide receiver looks really good. Defense is playing good. They're in a really good division. They're going to be a super fun team to watch. You know, he is a player that if I had multiples of, I would dump some and hold some. He was one, and I don't own any. I wish I did. I don't own any. But I would like maybe 1 or 2 key cards to just say, you know what, sometimes you just want to ride the roller coaster and just kind of see where it takes you. I think he'd be one of the players that I would. That being said, I would definitely, like, if I had multiples, if I had some base stuff, some lower end stuff, whatever, or maybe one really nice high end card, I would look to move off some of it. Take your money, get your profits, you know, work it out. So maybe the one card that you decide to hold on to, you're free rolling it or whatever. But he would be one I would be willing to hop on the roller coaster and just let it ride. But I would want to take at least some profits on the way for sure. So Kyler just seems, he's just a fun player to watch. I just enjoy watching him play football. He's just fun to watch run around like a nut out there. Let's talk about some guys going down. Winston did not look as good in start number 2. His stuff has pulled back. This is his Topps Chrome PSA 10, Pop 600-ish. Started off at 119, down to 107, and this is a 2-week chart as well. So that's down 40%. And this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. If these prices get inflated on these guys and you're not into them for much, just sell it and take the profit, because it's just one bad week, and they come right back down again, especially on guys like Winston. Carr could be the same way. If Carr comes out and plays like crap this week, his card will be down 30-40%. When this stuff spikes, just move it. Just move it. Like we always say, you buy back. They let you buy him back. Tua, another one. Started off a little shaky, had the decent week 1. They won, but he played Week 2 was a disaster, got hurt, has rib problems now. They put him on IR. He's out for at least, I think, 3 to 4 weeks. This is his base Prism PSA 10. Pop 750-ish, down 25% from 220 to 165. He officially went on the IR today, Saturday, I believe. So maybe this even drops. I wouldn't be surprised if this drops a little bit more. But right now down to 165, and most of his stuff is down across the board, both from the poor play and then the injury on top of it is not going to help things. I'm not a believer in Tua. He just seems like he seems destined to be the journeyman number 2 quarterback. He's like the guy that like, oh, okay, we don't mind having him as our backup quarterback, but I don't want him having to start more than like a couple games. He just has not impressed me so far in his young NFL career. Maybe he develops into something. Who knows? But to this point, I'm just not seeing it. Oh, my boy Baker. Pulled one Baker card. In general, Baker's market's down slightly. His base Prism's down a little bit, here and there. This is also, once again, a 14-day chart on this one. This is his Concourse Silver PSA 10. Started at 330, down to 265, a 20% drop on this. Select non-field level silvers seem to be getting really cheap across the board. I'm noticing it in NFL, and I'm also noticing it in NBA as well, where the lower tiers of select are really getting disrespected lately. And once again, I'm guessing that's going to where the narrative has shifted on select as a brand. Like it or not, it is what it is. Last football one, I believe. Oh, one more football one after this one. Joe Burrow Optic PSA 10 Hollow. We talked about this in the preseason. Once again, a 2-week chart on this one. I was concerned about Burrow just from a slow start potential because of him coming off the injury. The team, in my opinion, is not very good. The offensive line is not very good. And Burrow's basically under the gun every play, and it shows. I do like Burrow as a player. I think he's has a chance to be really good, but that team's just not ready. And this is exactly what I was concerned about with his pricing in the preseason. This is his Optic Hollow PSA 10. Pop 175-ish on this. Started the 2-week period off at 530, is already down to 300, a 42% hit. Burrow is one that if his stuff got cheap enough, he would be an interesting play to buy back in on if his prices continue to fall. Watches Prism Silvers, watches, Orange Ice, watches Optic Hollows, select field levels, that sort of stuff. If they cut down the reasonable amounts, I think it might not be a bad idea to pick some up. And if it doesn't rebound in season, maybe it just stays flat. I think it has a decent chance to go up in the off season somewhere. Maybe it goes up around the NFL draft. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. That I don't know. But Burrow is an interesting buy low candidate, in my opinion. Last but not least, another one that's an interesting buy low candidate, in my opinion. And also going back to Select again. Select Premier Level Silver, PSA 10 Josh Allen. I could have picked a lot of different Josh Allen cards. I just picked this one. But Josh Allen in general is down a decent portion so far this season. This is once again a 2-week chart, but you can see the dive really happen here in the last couple days. This was 835 at the beginning of the season, is now down to 610 for a 26% drop, down $225. Pop about 180 on this one. Josh Allen is another one. If you could start picking his stuff up at lows, I don't think it's a bad play. They had the Steelers week 1. Say what you will about the Steelers. Their offense, Ben Roethlisberger, sucks, but their defense is still legit pretty good. They won last week going away, but Allen didn't really need to do much, to be quite honest. So his numbers weren't very impressive, but they smashed. Their schedule lightens up, I believe, quite a bit, and I could see them going on a run, and I could see his prices bouncing back. So he was one, once again, in the preseason I was concerned about because of where his stuff was priced at. He would have to play so well to maintain that price, and what I thought might happen happened. He came out and struggled, and his prices have, and once again, they won last week, and they looked good doing it, but he did not put up monster numbers. So his prices are starting to slide backwards a little bit. He is another one I would if his stuff dipped low enough, and I don't know what those numbers are. I'd have to dig in and look. But he would be one I would, if you're looking to buy football players on the low or on a dip, he would be one I would potentially be looking at, because if he turns it around and they go on a run, I can see his stuff shooting right back up again. So let's switch over to baseball really quick. Only one player I want to talk about. In general, the baseball market is still just basically kind of just roaming around the desert. Some stuff slightly going up, some stuff slightly going down. Vlad had a little run up. It's kind of flattened off now. Ohtani stuff is kind of flat to slightly down. The one player that is seeing a big resurgence the last week or so is Soto. I pulled his base Chrome PSA 10 here just as an example. I could have pulled a couple different things. This is base Chrome is up from 210, and I went back. This is just 7 days on this one. 210 to 305 in the last week, up 45%, a $95 increase. He's been playing out of his damn mind the last week. I've been talking about the Soto Pink forever. That card's jumped slightly up. They got almost back down to 800 again, and then I noticed 2 sold this week, I think, for like 900 and 950, 975-ish. I don't remember the exact numbers. I am looking at some larger Soto cards potentially as a next grab, as kind of a more long-term hold. But of course, I put him on my radar, and then he decides to go crazy town, and he might be sneaking into, as bad as the Nationals are, there's a lot of talk about him kind of kicking the door in on the NL MVP race, because no one seems to really want that award. And Soto's really making a case. He is playing out of his damn mind. As mediocre and mediocre for his standards in the front half of the season, which is still pretty damn good. The back half, he has been playing absolutely crazy. I know Dakota disagrees with that, Sports Cards Anonymous, but I am willing to go out on that limb that he is playing out of his damn mind the second half of this season. His last 45-day numbers are absolutely insane. To me, he is the best young player in baseball. I know a lot of other guys get hype thrown around them, and myself included. I like Tatis. I love Vlad. I'm a little worried about Acuna and some of the other guys, but Soto already has the ring. He's just an absolute hitting machine. He's due for either a contract extension or to skip town. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the baseball market's a little weird. Maybe it's because, a lot of people were in the comments on my last video about a work stoppage potentially. Does it happen? I don't know. That's speculation, basically. I almost hope there's a lot of talk of it in the offseason, and that deflates baseball prices even more, with an opportunity to maybe dive into some stuff on the low. So we'll see. Soto's the lone guy we're talking about this week in the baseball market. Just absolutely insane second half, and ridiculously fun player to watch. Basketball. Basketball does seem to be getting a little spicy. What I did here is we're going to dive into a couple individual cards. I just have a couple to go over. This is price movement by cards. Once again, my favorite market movers chart. I think you need to be a pro member for this. I never remember what's pro and what's not. My 2 favorite features of market movers: my collection tool. I absolutely love the my collection tool, and price movements by card. This is the chart the page that I do a ton of my research on for the videos. So this is what we have for the filters here. I kind of like the layout, what filters I'm using. We have the set to basketball, obviously, PSA 10 only. And then for variations, I have silvers, hollows, concourse silver, premier level silver. So the more key cards, if you will, of any individual player. I'm going back 14 days, and I have this listed by number of sales. So let me make this a little bit of a longer list. So number of sales sorted by their total. So 15 is the leader in the clubhouse. That's the Ja Morant Silver Prism. And we're going to scroll through here, and you are going to see a ton of green. So this price change one is just the straight number that it went up. Volume change is an interesting one. This is a newer column that they've added. This is showing the percentage of volume increase from the previous 14-day period. And then the price change percentage over here. So just scrolling through here. Ja Silver Prism up $75. KPJ being second on this list. I am so proud of you, Basketball Hobby. Putting my boy KPJ second on the list for Silver Prism. Out of all, so this is looking at Prism Select and Optic. It would be pulling cards from. He's up $17. Nikhil Alexander Walker. You know it's getting close to basketball season when the number 2 and number 3 players on the list are KPJ and Nikhil Alexander Walker. Up $25. He's been getting a little preseason pump action. Luka, we're going to talk about individually in a minute. Sekou got a little bit of a bump up because he got shipped to the Nets. Kobe White seeing a little bit of bounce up, but just once again, focus on this column right here as I scroll through here. Green, 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 green. Here's some red. Tyler Hero, slightly down. Trae Young, actually slightly down. This card ran all the way up to 1,700, so this might just be a little bit of a natural pullback to 1,600. That's still a very respectable price for his PSA 10 silver. Oh, the legend, the GOAT himself graces us. Bull, PSA 10 silver up $30. Daniel Gafford, of all players, number 7 sales of a silver, down $5. But once again, as I continue to scroll through here, Donovan Mitchell, we'll talk about him in a second. Very little red until you get way down here on where there's just been a couple cards that sold. In general, a lot of green on the silvers hollows from the various different sets of cards going up. Let's look at a couple individual players. We mentioned Luka earlier. This is a 7-day chart on him. The last week, Luka Silver Prism up to 6K. 6.1K, an $850 increase, 16%. His stuff seems to be getting maybe another little run up here before the season after the Olympic run up. We'll see how far it goes. KD, 2007 Topps Chrome Base on the last week, up 14%, $600 increase. So his stuff's up pretty nice. And then last but not least, one of the biggest winners of the week, Donovan Mitchell Prism Silver, pop 550 on this, give or take. This is a 2-week chart on this one. I just wanted to verify that it wasn't just a 1-week spike. His stuff went from just under $1,300 to just over $1,600, a $350 increase, 27% increase. So Mitchell on the way up as well. Once again, my biggest takeaway here is the amount of green on the silver hollow and silver chart. Once again, not big number. I mean, some of those are pretty big numbers, but over a 2-week period, Ja Morant being up, slightly 5% here, 10% there, 12% there. Real quick, I did not plan on doing this. Let me just look at a 60-day. This needs to be its own full-fledged video. But I am just curious here. If we look at the 60-day, Sekou's number 1. That's funny. Trae Young up 200. DeAndre Ayton down slightly. So still see a ton of green looking at the 60-day. Very, very little red. And the red that you do see are not large amounts. So, the NBA market does seem to be climbing its way back. There's the biggest winners. Giannis Silver. This is over the last 60. Luka Optic Hollow up to 5,500 now on a PSA 10. Woof. Giannis Silver, Luka Silver, Zion Silver up to 3,700. I think my boy Filmington got one of these for 2,700 at the National. Nice pickup by him. Tatum Silver up. So, you go back 60 days. That takes you back into the middle of the summer. Basically, 4th of July was the magic period to buy NBA. That's essentially what it comes down to. Like I said, we'll do a bigger deep dive into the NBA offseason market so far, as we are now just a couple weeks away from the NBA season officially starting. So that's all I got for you guys and girls. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Share the video with a friend, whatever. We will catch you guys and girls tomorrow, maybe for a rapid fire NFL market video. We'll just kind of see what happens on the day tomorrow. Play it by ear. But have a good football Sunday, everybody. Go Browns. Catch you on the next one. Peace.